Good evening and welcome to another episode of Calcio Connection. I'm Jerry Mancini. I'm half of the show tonight, and I'm just doing a little video clip basically of Lazio and a few topics I want to cover in regards to some players and their manager. Alex Donald's not here tonight, but I'm the other half, and the first thing I want to cover is Luis Alberto. And here's a player that has gone through his comments about the whole plane saga, like the whole issue about the wages and the players not being paid, and why would they pay for a plane when they should be giving out the money to the players. And this is a situation that has really gone out of control now. I know his comments were bad, but it seems today that Inzaghi is not going to let a bad incident get in the way of his lineup, and he is going to play the best players available now, especially since Sergei Milinkovic-Savic is not available this weekend. It's unfortunate that he picked up COVID. I feel bad for him. I hope a speedy recovery for Sergei, but in a time like this where a lot of injuries, a lot of illnesses, you can't avoid. Lotito has to get something straight. Freezing out Luis Alberto on Saturday doesn't help Inzaghi. Inzaghi needs the best players available to help him win games, and having Luis Alberto available, just returning from COVID himself, and finally in form and healthy, I expect him to play on Saturday. There's no ifs, ands, and buts. Inzaghi is going to field the best 11 players available to him, and I think in the midfield Saturday with Lucas Leiva as well returning, which is another positive sign. We should see Leiva, I would say Akpro and Luis Alberto in the middle. If it's not Akpro starting, I would see Parolo probably playing, but that don't see that at all. I see Akpro going, and he's been a good replacement for Sergei Milinkovic-Savic and has really stepped up and provided some good depth. So, Lotito, stop holding grudges, stop trying to create any mutiny with the team. Let Inzaghi do his job, and with how the season has gone this year and how much adversity we have overcome, I think this team has really achieved so much without so many good players, and Luis Alberto, just let him do his job. And he's apologized so many times, and this is a player that knows he's done wrong. A hefty fine will be the right punishment. Going further than that will only cause problems, I feel. So I expect Alberto to play Saturday. He's going to give 110%. Now, another positive news, guys. Well, not another positive news actually, is Ciro Immobile is back, and this is a guy positive, negative, and finally he went to the Padea today. He did his medical tests and he trained with the first team, and all signs ready to go. So on Saturday we should expect up front. I would possibly see Correa alongside with Immobile. Caicedo starting on the bench. He's still nursing a shoulder injury. Gutsy performances he's been giving. He hasn't been able to play 90 minutes, but he has been giving a solid 30 minutes against Juventus, Torino, and Zenit. So, where he'd scored 3 straight games and been the decisive factor to earn 2 draws and a win. So, what I say about Caicedo is we're very fortunate that we didn't sell him in the summer. I know that the arrival of Vedat Marici may have twist our heads around or our minds around and think maybe that we don't need Caicedo with the amount of money that we're spending on Vedat Marici. How can we keep Caicedo? We sell him, try to get a center back or another position. But I think that having 4 strikers up front has really serviced Inzaghi very well. We didn't have that last year where we only had Vedat Marici, so we only had Caicedo, Correa, and Immobile, and when one went down, it kind of really caused a lot of problems with this season. Inzaghi's had a 4th option to rely on, and it's really been pivotal especially that Immobile has missed a lot of time due to COVID. So Caicedo has really stepped up. Correa starting to find his rhythm in his game, and give Vedat Marici some time, because this is a player who arrived late due to COVID, had an injury, still equating with his players. So I think in time we will see the true form and what Vedat Marici can provide of what he showed last year with Fenerbahce, and he scored almost 20 goals. In regards to Immobile, I'm so happy to see him back. The heart and soul of Lazio, I would probably say. This guy, 4 straight seasons of 20 plus goals in all competition. There's not much more you could say. This guy's ecstatic to be back. He deserves every right to be playing in Champions League. It's unfortunate that not only him, but a lot of players are missing out on such a prestigious tournament that they worked so hard to get back after 13 seasons, and now all of a sudden a lot of these key players that were so vital last year to helping Lazio earn that spot back into the Champions League. A guy like Sergei Milinkovic-Savic, who now has to miss their next game against Zenit at the Stadio Olimpico. Luis Alberto missed 2 matches. Like I said earlier, Immobile missed 2 matches. Leyva missed 2 matches. And it's just nice to see a lot of these players now starting to return. Escalante, I know he wasn't part of that roster, but a depth option that's coming back now. And encouraging news was Sena Lulic. And he's not part of the roster, but it would be a really nice sign to see Lazio just get out of that group stage, and to see Stefan Radu and Sena Lulic just play one game in the Champions League where they deserve to be in that tournament, just to get that feeling, that grasp, because with Lulic being with the club for 9+ seasons, and I believe Radu's been with the club around since 2007 to 08, and it's been 12-13 years he's been with the club. These guys have given their heart and soul to Lazio, and they deserve to be there, and just to get that feeling with Lazio of how much they've contributed and how much they poured into this club. So for me, I'm just happy to see Immobile. What does this mean for the team going forward? Well, they got their number 1 striker back, and the fact that they've been able to basically play without their key players, and a lot of players have stepped up. It just makes them even better, much stronger, and another player for clubs to worry about now. So, and then a lot of praise. Let's give a lot of praise to Simone Inzaghi, guys. I think we're starting to see what Inzaghi can do with this club when he has a few players available to him. And I think the one thing that with COVID and the injuries and a lot of players out of the lineup, what it's done to Inzaghi and what we haven't seen in past seasons is his ability to rotate the squad. And he's always been reluctant and always starting the same 11. And he probably calls the same 3 players off the bench. And this season, we're seeing that he's forced to make changes. He's forced to make those substitutions. And what he's done is he's kind of learned the type of players who he has available to him. So a guy like Pereira, a guy like Vedat Marici, who he tried out, and he's starting to understand the type of player he is. Mohamed Fares, Adam Maricic on the left side as an inverted winger he's put him into, where he's played right and left side, and he's experimenting that. Wesley Hoot had to come in really early since arriving from the transfer market. I know that this is his second stint with the club, but he right away went to him. What else can we say? There's this Akpa Akpro, a guy who comes to Lanterna and has really flourished in making the most of his opportunity. From him to Escalante, who came from La Liga and is really proving to be a very pivotal player, really crucial player to this lineup. So what we are seeing now is that because Inzaghi has been forced to do substitutions, he's becoming more reluctant, more accustomed to doing it, and he's not hesitating. And I think the most important part is that what's making him do it as well is that he has a lot of depth on this bench. And in recent seasons, Lazio has never had the depth and that quality to always depend on bringing those players to make a difference. And he had to do Champions League with up to 12 players against Club Brugge, and he had to call up 6 players from the Primavera squad to complete a squad list. Against Zenit, he had up to 8 players, I believe, out of the lineup. And we're seeing Inzaghi basically coming up with lineups, getting the most out of his players. And that's the most important thing, is that these players are fighting for Inzaghi, and the players are fighting for each other. There's a bond here. There's a chemistry that everyone wants to win, and everyone wants. It doesn't matter what it is. And another thing, credit to Inzaghi, is that he hasn't made any excuses. He hasn't said, "Oh, we didn't have certain players out, so this is why we lost." He knows what is at stake. He knows what the circumstances are. He's not pouring the blame on missing 12 guys. He's not pouring the blame on 6 guys. Very often he's credited his players for giving a good effort, a strong effort with a short bench, having to rely on players such as Caicedo, who has been injured. There's been players who have to play twice as much on short days rest because he didn't have other players available. But the gutsy performances, everyone stepping up. This is a great attitude that the team is showing, and just overcoming so much adversity and showing some great character that they have the ability to actually finish a top 4 spot, I believe, and get out of that group stage for Champions League. I don't see why they can't do it. Earning 2 draws and a win, and with a depleted squad and having a lot of players step up, I think this is really encouraging. And now that a lot of players are returning, this just adds more things to worry about for clubs such as Club Brugge, Dortmund, and Zenit when they play Lazio, because at full strength, I think that Lazio can beat any of these teams in this group, and I don't see why, with 3 matches remaining, why they can't do it. It will be interesting to see how we rotate the squad moving forward. I would assume that Inzaghi will rotate his squad, will use his players digitally. He won't overplay them, and I think that going to Champions League on Tuesday against Zenit, and then their following match against Dortmund, you're going to see a very strong, hungry Lazio squad that will fight for each other. And I know that they don't have Milinkovic-Savic on Tuesday and this Saturday, but we've seen that they have stepped up when key players have been missing, and I don't see why they can't do it again. And the last thing I have to say is the match versus Crotone. This is not an easy walk in the park win for Lazio. They have never won. I forget what the stadium's called, to be honest, in Crotone, but they've never won there. So I would say that Lazio should go into this match against Crotone fully motivated, having their lead striker back. You got a very well-rounded squad here that can really hurt you on a good day, and Crotone is really struggling to find wins. They don't have a win this season. They got 2 draws, 5 losses. They come off a draw against Torino, which they had a decent effort. They did steal a point earlier in the year versus Juventus. I guess this is a team that you don't want to take lightly, because Stropa needs a win, and if Stropa doesn't get a win, it could be panettone for him as well. Now, we'll see how that works out for their manager, but I think Inzaghi will play his best 11. It's only 6 points apart from, I believe, 9th place till 1st, which Lazio occupies, and the race for 1st in Serie A is wide open. And I know it's early days, but if I'm Lazio, you still want to prioritize Serie A as well as Champions League. So come Saturday, I expect this team to come very strong, very motivated, and should win it, but they can't take their opponent lightly. That's just the way I see it. We'll see how this one plays out. This is a much better team, like I said, compared to recent seasons. With Crotone, they just don't have a lot of depth. They got Sealy up front. I know they have Ciccarini, but in the middle, but I don't know. I don't like what they offer. They're missing Sebastian Luberto due to suspension. That's a big loss for them. There's just a lot of holes. This is a weak team that just doesn't have enough depth, enough firepower, and we all know that they were expected to get relegated. So I can see them stealing a point. I mean, stealing a draw, but it will be a really hard effort. It would need to be a strong effort, team collective from them. So I'll go with a 2-0 win for Lazio. That's from me for today. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed, at Calcio Pod, the Calcio Connection, and Forza Lazio. Hopefully things go good or turn around for us or just get better going forward. And it's just nice to see that players are back, and another great weekend of Serie A coming up. Enjoy the night, guys. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the Calcio. Cheers.